The first pick in the 2012 NBA Draft, the New Orleans Hornets select Anthony Davis.
The fact is, Anthony Davis wouldn't give the okay to publicize it because he didn't want to go to work every day working for the Pelicans and in front of those great fans. Everybody knows that it's official. He wants out.
By now, everyone and their mother has heard that Anthony Davis has requested a trade from the New Orleans Pelicans. It's been rumored that he's going to the Lakers, the Celtics, or even the Warriors. But what if I told you that there's a team that nobody's talking about that may have a better chance than you think? But before we begin, I'd just like to thank y'all for the support I got on my last video. It's my most successful video to date, and it just shows that you guys are actually messing with the content, and I appreciate that. But now, let's get into the video. When the news broke out that Anthony Davis wanted to be traded, I think everyone thought he was either going to the Lakers or the Celtics. The thing is, Woj just tweeted January 30th that the Pelicans aren't interested in dealing with the Lakers right now, so that takes them off the list. And for the Celtics, they can't even make a play on Anthony Davis until July 1st when Kyrie opts out and becomes an unrestricted free agent. And with those two teams out the way, I think that there's only one team that I would deal with if I were the Pelicans, and that would be the Toronto Raptors. And I know it may sound crazy, but just hear me out, okay? I think if done right, this can be a win-win for both teams. For this trade to happen, the Raptors would have to give up Jonas Valanciunas, CJ Miles, OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, a 2020 first-round pick, and a 2022 first-round pick all unprotected for Anthony Davis, Darius Miller, Diallo, and Tim Frazier. First, we'll talk about why this makes sense for the New Orleans Pelicans. The main prizes that the Pelicans get from this trade is OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, and those two first-rounders. Valanciunas probably won't be on the team by either 2019 or 2020, and for sure CJ Miles isn't going to stay on that team. He's been playing terrible this season. As we all know, Siakam is my favorite to win the most improved player, and it shows. He's averaging 15 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, all on efficient shooting. Siakam won't be a player you build around for a championship team, but he'll be a really solid cornerstone. He's proved that he can score the ball, which will probably get better next season. We know he can rebound and he plays good defense. Once he gets his three-point shot going, he'll be extremely dangerous and he'll be your prototypical stretch 4. He'd also be signed with the Pelicans through the 2020 season, and when he becomes a free agent, the Pelicans will probably give him a near max contract, meaning that he's there for the long haul. OG Anunoby would also be important for the Pelicans' future. Although he's still extremely raw, Anunoby has proven that he has the talent to become an athletic 3-and-D player in the future. He's been often compared to players like Jimmy Butler or Kawhi Leonard, but if we're being real here, I think the Pelicans would be happy if he played like a Danny Green or a Trevor Ariza. The two picks that were traded also have big potential. Even with the addition of Anthony Davis, there's a real possibility that Kawhi still leaves at the end of the season. The Raptors would become worse, and the pick would have a lot more value for New Orleans. The 2022 pick could hold a lot more value, especially if Anthony Davis isn't happy in Toronto and decides to leave. Now let's move on to why this makes sense for Toronto. Let me ask you, could you imagine a team with Kyle Lowry, Danny Green, Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis, and Serge Ibaka, and trying to score on that team? And even with this big trade, the bench remains solid. You still have Fred VanVleet, DeLon Wright, Malachi Richardson, Norman Powell, Greg Monroe, and now you have Darius Miller, another sharpshooter. Anthony Davis also said he wanted to play for a winner, and the Toronto Raptors happen to be second in the Eastern Conference. Anthony Davis also said he wanted playoff success. Well, he's in the Eastern Conference, so playoff success is basically guaranteed with a team that good. The only two teams that could basically stop the Raptors from getting to the finals is the Milwaukee Bucks or the Boston Celtics. And let's say the Raptors do get Anthony Davis. How are the Bucks going to guard this team? And look, I know Giannis is a superhuman, he's a Greek freak, but he's only one person. If you put him on Kawhi, who's going to guard Anthony Davis? If you put him on Anthony Davis, who's going to guard Kawhi? And if you're thinking of helping off, I don't think that's going to work either. Kyle Lowry has proven that he can hit the open 3 even though he's having an off year so far. Danny Green is a knockdown sharpshooter, and Serge Ibaka can hit the 3 from the corners. I'm not sure Boston could stop a team like this either. I know that they're a very talented team, and they probably have the second best head coach in the league in Brad Stevens, but I think they're way too undersized to compete with this Raptors team. Marcus Morris has the size to match up with Kawhi, and don't get me wrong, he's not a bad defender at all, but Kawhi is just too good of a scorer for him. You could switch Marcus Smart onto Kyle Lowry, and you could put Kyrie Irving on Danny Green, to be honest. But what will happen with Jason Tatum and Al Horford? Don't get me wrong, I love Jason Tatum as a player, but I don't think he'd be able to guard Ibaka defensively. Ibaka would be able to back him down in the post, he's just not strong enough. Al Horford, on the other hand, he's a very good post defender, but he's just too short for AD, and AD is just too talented of a scorer for him. I could also see this team competing with the Warriors as well. Kyle Lowry would have to do his best to stop Steph Curry. Danny Green and Klay Thompson should be a good matchup. Kawhi and Kevin Durant would be a great matchup, and everyone wants to see AD versus Boogie. Ibaka and Draymond would also be a good matchup, but is Draymond really an offensive threat? It would be an extremely competitive finals that I think everyone would want to see. But with all that said, this is all a what if. Maybe Anthony Davis goes to the Lakers, maybe he goes to the Celtics, hell, maybe even goes to the Warriors. Let me know what you guys think of this trade in the comments below, and like the video, and don't forget to subscribe. I really appreciate the support on my last video, and if you haven't checked it out, check it out. And with all that being said, I hope I didn't just anger a bunch of Laker fans or something, but have a good one.